The deeply held views and partisanship of our times doesn't have to tear communities apart. Stave Hartman has proof.
This neighborhood in Summerville, South Carolina is predominantly black. And no one cared when Annie Caddell moved in 7 years ago.
I love the house.
At least, according to her neighbor, Juanita Edwards. No one cared at first.
When she came here, she seemed to be very nice.
Until?
A little while later, she started putting up Confederate flags. Every morning when I would walk out to get my newspaper, that's the first thing you see. My husband stopped going to get the newspaper in the morning.
And so began a very public fight. When the neighbors protested in front of her house, Annie invited counter-protesters to stand in her yard. When the neighbors put up walls on both sides of her property to block the view, Annie put up a taller flagpole. Her brazenness made international news.
Once you get my hackles raised, I don't back down. I don't make no apologies.
Eventually, the war settled into a stalemate of sorts. There were no more marches, no bigger walls, no taller flagpoles. Just a quiet bitterness on both sides. Until just recently, when Annie had a change of heart, quite literally.
When you have a heart attack and you're being told you're not going to live very long, you're facing your mortality. I needed to clean up the messes that I made by being so stubborn. And I have asked anyone with an earshot to forgive me.
She started with one of her fiercest critics, director of the local community resource center, Lewis Smith.
And she said, I have decided to take down the flag. I said, huh? I couldn't believe it. I was in disbelief. I went and hugged her. Somehow, God touched her heart.
Not long after, she presented him with the flag.
And Miss Annie, we thank you.
Today, a South Carolina flag flies in its place, and Annie is hopeful the walls will be the next to go. She's already getting waves from the neighbors and enjoying her new perspective on the world.
If all species of birds can get along, why can't we?
Can we get people to be less stubborn without the heart attack part?
That would be lovely, but sometimes it takes a serious action to happen to you before you see your actions on others.
Annie says before, she only saw the Confederate flag through her eyes as a way to honor relatives who fought for the South. But now, she says, she cares more about her living neighbors than her dead relatives.
You don't feel like you're dishonoring them now?
No, I'm not. I think I've done more honor for them now than I've done in my whole life.
And with that, our divided country inches a little closer together.